Hello guys, my name is Duandi from Universal University Batam, college student in software engineering. On this time, I want to say my argument about the motion this house would allocate resources toward adapting to climate change rather than mitigating or preventing climate change. Okay, I will say that I don't agree about that. And I will say to you, don't run from the problem that we make. Okay, for my argument, I have 3 points to say. First point about what is climate change, because we must know about the topic about, so we can give our argument for that. Second point about what make the climate change happen. Third point about what can we do for mitigating or preventing climate change. Okay, but before I tell you my arguments, I want to say that what I will say to you is just my argument based on my research. So if you don't agree about that, you can also give your logic reason why you don't agree about my argument. Okay, for the first point, climate change. Maybe we think it's just like a weather change or else, but no, climate change is different to just weather change. Climate change is when the earth temperature got colder or warmer, and that's just the beginning of the story. And it can get worse and worse than that. Climate change can affect to our health, like you can easier get sick. Climate change also affect to animals, insects, plants or others. So it will affect on ability to grow food because our food is from plants and animals. And for the example of climate change, the Earth is now about 1.1 degree percent Celsius warmer than it was in late 1800s. Maybe you think this is not a big change, and 1.1 is a small number, but from that small number comes some big problem, because from that one small change comes it can make sea level rise because of polar ice get melt, and that's just because that small change. And now think if it getting worse and worse, maybe until there's no chance that we can live on earth anymore. So do you think that we can just adapting from the climate change? I think that's better if we can solve the problem than just adapting from that, because we don't know how long time that we can survive if we just trying to adapting from climate change. Okay, now we know about the climate change is a big problem and so dangerous, not just for human but also for animals and plants and others. But what caused the climate change happen? Okay, for the second point, the cause of climate change is greenhouse gas and rising emissions. Okay, about greenhouse gas, it is the main cause for the climate change problem. Okay, some gases in the Earth's atmosphere is like a glass in greenhouse, trapping the sun's heat and stopping it from leaking into space. And many of greenhouse gases occur naturally, but human activities are increasing the concentrations of some of them in the atmosphere. And about the causes for rising emissions, that's like burning coal, oil and gas. It will produce carbon dioxide or increase livestock farming costs, and sheep produce large amounts of methane when they digest their food, and also cutting down forests because trees help to regulate the climate by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Okay, from the cause of climate change that I say before, we know the real cause of the problem is us, human. And now you say that we should adapting to climate change rather than mitigating or preventing from that. It's just like we run from the problem that we make. Come on, don't just think about ourselves, but because the climate change not just affect to human, it's also to affect to others like plants and animals. Okay, for the last point or third point, things that we can do for mitigating or preventing change is not hard. We can do it just like use the reusable things, like use reusable cup, because it can reduce trash population. Next, you can use bicycle or walk when you want to go to somewhere, because it can save fossil fuel emissions, and also it can be exercise to get healthy. Also, we can plant something, because we know that plants can absorbing carbon dioxide from atmosphere. Also, we can save water and save electricity, because that will save energy. And also, for mitigating or preventing climate change, we can do 5R. Okay, 5R. 4R, the step 1, reduce. It can be so difficult step, because that we refusing to buy or use wasteful and non-recyclable products. Step 2, reduce. So we reducing the use of non-recyclable products or else. For example, when we printing document, we can use it two side, double side. Okay, step 3, reuse. We use again a thing instead of buying a new one. Okay, step 4, repurpose. If we can reuse, reduce or refuse, we can repurposing it. The example of like using the tin cans for holding pencil or pens, and for the last or the step 5, recycle. You can use the waste material for making something new, and that we can use. Okay, just that the points. So I want to say to you that don't run from the problem that we make, because that can be worse than before. And also that's just like we run from reality. Please, this earth just not for us humans home. It's also a house for animals, plants, and other things that live in it. So can we just find a solution for solve the problem that we make? Think about that, because our choice can make this earth become better or getting worse than now. So think about it properly. Okay, just that, and thanks for watching.